Emperor Justinian, arguably one of the greatest emperors of the Eastern Roman Empire. Personally, I prefer Basil the Beast, but I can see why people love this guy. An ambitious and passionate ruler, keen on restoring the glory of Rome. Now, you thought I was talking about Justinian I. Oh no, I'm talking about Justinian II, otherwise known as the Slit-Nosed, whose biggest achievements was having 2 reigns and having a slit nose. In this video we'll be looking at the reign of Justinian and all the wacky hijinks of the time he inhabited. If this sounds interesting to you, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm aiming for 100 subscribers by June, and your vote of confidence would really be appreciated. Justinian was the eldest son of Emperor Constantine IV and Empress Anastasia, a member of the Heraclian dynasty of the Byzantine Empire. Born in 668 in the city of Constantinople, later ascending to the throne at age 16 in 685. We'll take a moment here to take a look at the state of the Eastern Roman Empire at the time. Ever since the Byzantine Sassanid War of 602 to 628, the empire had been exhausted, so when a small Arab tribe began to build an empire and even destroy the Sassanids, the Romans could only watch as the provinces of the Levant, Egypt and Africa, and even parts of Anatolia were conquered by the Caliphate. There was also a mass migration of Slavs and Avars from the north, as the depopulation caused by the Huns in the Balkans, combined with the war drawing away the empire's resources, left the Balkans practically defenseless, limiting imperial control to isolated enclaves in the cities, like Constantinople, Thessaloniki and Athens. When Justinian took the throne in 685, his reign showed great promise, as not only was Justinian a very passionate and ambitious ruler like his namesake, he enjoyed major success at the start of his reign, invading the Umayyad Caliphate to the east and defeating them in Armenia, securing a tribute of 1,000 solidus, a horse and a slave every day from the Caliphate, as well as sharing control of Cyprus and the income of the Caliphate's provinces in Armenia and Iberia, taking advantage of the instability of the Umayyad Caliphate at the time. In this agreement, he also resettled 12,000 Maronites from Lebanon, as resettling defeated peoples was a common practice in Rome at the time. He then settled a treaty with the Arabs, which split Cyprus and its tax revenue, which allowed Justinian to turn to the west and launch an offensive against the Bulgars, a strange mix of Turks and Slavs that had invaded and settled in the Balkans at the time. He defeated the Slavs of Macedonia and created a land bridge between Constantinople and Thessaloniki, which was the second greatest city of the Byzantine Empire and often called the co-reigning city of the empire. He then resettled the subdued Slavs in Anatolia, forming a force in the imperial army of 30,000 men. This wouldn't last long. Justinian then launched a new offensive against the Arabs, winning some significant victories in the early stages, but then the Arabs just bribed the Slavs into revolting. With the Slavic force now in open rebellion against Justinian, the Byzantines were decisively defeated at the subsequent Battle of Sebastiopolis, where afterwards Justinian took out his frustration on the Slavs by slaughtering as many Slavs as he could in and around the theme of Opsikion. In other news, Armenia was also lost after it revolted and got conquered by the Arabs. After this, Justinian attempted to focus on internal policy, but as we'll see, it was just a hilarious downward spiral from here, as he started by violently persecuting the Manichaeans, a Persian religious group, as well as other non-Chalcedonian denominations of Christianity. Justinian then proceeded to strain relations between the Western and Eastern churches by further highlighting their differences, such as marriage of priests and Sunday as a fasting day. Justinian even ordered the Pope at the time, Sergius I, to be arrested, but Roman Ravenna ended up rebelling to protect the Pope. Though it wasn't all disasters, as Justinian did contribute to the expansion of the theme system of the empire, aka Byzantine feudalism, by establishing the theme of Hellas as a separate entity from Anatolia based in Thebes. He also protected the rights of free peasants in the empire against the aristocracy, which attempted to take their lands. This put him in direct conflict with the largest landowners in the empire, and this is where the shit show speeds up, as those said landowners, fed up with his shit, sided with the commoners who were fed up with Justinian's tax policy and overthrew the emperor, placing Leontios, a general Justinian had previously imprisoned, as the new emperor. Justinian was then subjected to the standard practice when deposing a Byzantine emperor. You see, the Greeks at the time had a belief that a disabled person could not rule, so if you were missing a limb, you could not become emperor. Now previously when deposing a monarch they cut off bits like their tongue or ears, but Justinian had the honour of losing his nose, which was cut off, and Justinian was then exiled to Crimea, aka the Australia of the Roman Empire, in case you're wondering, and we never heard from him again. Nah, here comes the best part. After his exile, Justinian immediately began plotting his return, and like a cartoon villain to get around the whole losing a part of your body thing, made a replica nose made of gold and placed it where his older nose was. He then escaped from Crimea and gained the help of the Khazars. Meanwhile, back in Constantinople, Leontius was deposed by Tiberius Aspamar, or Tiberius III, who politely paid the Khazars to kill Justinian, but Justinian discovered the plot and killed the assassins, and proceeded to sail all the way from Azov back to Constantinople. On the way, his ship was caught in a storm, and one of his men said that if Justinian promised gods that he would be magnanimous and didn't seek revenge on his enemies, they would all be spared. Justinian replied as such, "I'm the sassiest bitch, gods can suck my dick." After surviving the storm, with gods apparently being so impressed by Justinian's audacity that he let him live, they arrived in Bulgaria and approached its ruler and gained help from the Bulgarian Khaganate in exchange for money and a Caesar's crown, aka he made the Khagan of Bulgaria a co-emperor. Anyway, Justinian returned to Constantinople and after a brief kerfuffle retook the throne, killing both Leontius and Tiberius and exiling Patriarch Callinicus to Rome. But if you thought Justinian's second reign would be as successful in the stars as first, you'd be mistaken, as he started by unsuccessfully trying to beat the Bulgars and Arabs in battle, with the Arabs even breaking into parts of Cappadocia. He then bitch-slapped the Pope, which resulted in the last time a Pope would ever visit Constantinople until the 1960s. But by this time Justinian's time was up, as a general called Bardanes, with popular support, rose up against Justinian, proclaiming Bardanes as Emperor Philippicus, and Justinian was executed in November 711, ending the Heraclean dynasty of the Byzantine Empire. Aside from being a shining example of a man who never gave up, Justinian was also instrumental to the transition of the Byzantine Empire from a Latin Roman state to a Greek Byzantine, which we saw reach its peak under Basil the Based. Overall, Chad's Emperor, way better than Justinian I. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. As I said, I'm gunning for 1,000 subscribers by June, and your contribution would really help. With all that said, till next time.